Yeah, so the project that I'm involved in, Strikeout Baseball, is going to be an incredible project. We're going to introduce the game of baseball to those who've never played it, maybe never had an opportunity to play it. It's a pickup version of kind of like pickup basketball where you show up, you can play 1-on-1 to 5-on-5. And in the Lansing area where I grew up, we're going to be able to introduce this game to a lot of kids who would never even be able to play the game for one reason or another, or never even tried to play the game. So I'm excited about the project, and the project is about 3/4 of the way done, and can't wait to throw out the first pitch in the grand opening. Obviously, for me, growing
You
up
mean
in
they're going to
Lansing,
let you do that?
that's where they're going to let me do that. And I don't know how many throws I have in my arm because I've thrown over 2 million pitches. But I'm definitely going to look forward to throwing out that first pitch and then throwing out many more pitches to the kids that are going to learn a great game of baseball in a miniature baseball field.
That's great. We will. We're going to have you rip some packs. We're going to auction off here in a little bit if you have those handy. If not, that's okay. We do have some questions. Somebody wants, is
Yep.
Zachy, are you in here? Zachary? You want me to ask him about the quiet dugout after Bobby walked in after getting kicked out? How quiet would the dugout be?
When our manager got kicked
Yeah.
out, is that
Yeah,
the question?
when Bobby Cox got ejected,
When Bobby Cox would get ejected, how quiet? He wants to know how quiet would the dugout be?
Well, Bobby got ejected more than any manager in the history of baseball, and the reason he got ejected more than anybody is he was trying to keep his players in the game, and he was fighting for his players. So basically, when we would struggle over a strike zone or we didn't get many calls, Bobby would yell at the umpire to try to get us more calls. And unfortunately, it got him ejected more than it did the calls. So when he would leave, he would go down into the tunnel and he would communicate through the coaches that are still in the game, managing the game. So it definitely did get a little bit more quiet, and rarely did the second coach get thrown out of the game.
Well, that's a good thing. Of course, I know they want to know, what do you think? And I know you've been asked this, I've seen you on Ben's show. We got to know Paul Skeens. We call him in our rooms, we call him Paul Skeens. Because, of course, we're all trying to find one of his cards because they're worth so much. But we know that you've said that 100 miles per hour is not normal. But tell me, I mean, he's a machine? I mean, how long is it going to last?
Well, I'm hoping he is. I hope he's an exception to the rule because he's one of the most dominant pitchers we have in the game, and he's just a rookie. So, look, it's not normal to throw 100, 101 miles an hour. He's a big kid, 6'6". He's got repeatable mechanics, and then hopefully genetics will help him out. But we don't have history on our side. When you throw that hard, it just doesn't last very long. But that doesn't mean he can't, change the narrative and change the way that we view pitching. But I hope he stays healthy. Max effort velocity, not a great thing long term. Spinning the baseball as hard as you can is not a good thing long term. But it is the reward system that they have today, and the players are chasing that. So it's not the players' fault by any means.
Right.
It's just the way that they're being rewarded. So they're chasing the reward system.
yeah.
And how is it, what's the difference in watching that live than what we see on TV? I know you just saw him live recently.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people sit at home wondering what it would be like. Could they hit 200 in the big leagues? I hear people all the time talk about what they could do from the couch. And my job is to let them know that's not that easy at all. 100 miles an hour is something you just, the more you see it, the more you're ready for it. But it's really hard to hit. and there's no real way to emulate that, in a betting machine or any kind of machine that will emulate. They've got all kinds of new age machines that the big league clubs use to give the hitters the sense of what they're feeling and seeing. But one of the hardest things in the world to do is hit a baseball with a round bat, and you don't know what's coming. So it's not for everybody. The hand-eye coordination is unbelievable for a lot of these young athletes, but when you see it live, you just can't believe how fast that ball's coming in.
Yeah.
Hey, John, I got a question for you to tie it in with a little bit of Paul Skeens and the hobby that we do, Kristy and I do here with baseball cards. His value right now in cards is through the roof right now, and that ties in with his skill and ability. Have you seen? I know you probably haven't been around cards too much, but do you see his longevity? I guess lasting, because a lot of the baseball cards is a little bit of an investment for people. So I want to tie in a little bit of what we do with what your knowledge of the game is.
Well, he said that it can't last very long.
Yeah, it's just whenever something's hot and new. I remember doing the debut of Steven Strasburg, and he was by far the hottest thing to ever come out. His debut was, I called his debut on MLB Network. He struck out 14 Pirates.
Nice.
And unfortunately, the rest of his career did not mirror, what the potential that he had. He did not stay healthy enough. And for Paul Skeens, whenever we see a start like this, it's going to catch people and put him in an atmosphere that not many people like Doc Gooden, Dwight Gooden back in the day when he was a rookie. Rookies today don't get a chance to pitch that often, so I don't know if he'll make it through the year from an innings limit standpoint, but his card should be a pretty important card to get.
Yeah,
it is.
The potential that he has.
It sure is.
Yeah. So one of the questions in chat were, who is your toughest hitter to face all time?
Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn was, he gave us all fits. He hit over 400 against me, Maddox and Glavin, and Pedro Martinez. We faced him 350 times collectively, and we struck him out 3 times collectively.
That is probably one of the craziest stats.
Today's generation.
Yeah, that's a crazy stat.
Yeah, so he was by far the best hitter.
Okay, we're going to run John, we told you guys that we're doing baseballs, that he's got a couple of them there that we're going to run, that he will sign personally right there in front of you to what you wanted to say. So I'm going to go ahead and run one of those auctions. While, John, could you tell us, we've got, we want to know about your golf, lowest record, round of golf, and I would like to know about the time that you pitched to Tiger.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a special opportunity in spring training. He lives in Orlando, and our spring training was in Orlando, and it was an empty stadium, and I was working on kind of like a rehabilitation start. So I was throwing at the big field, and Tiger always wanted to face me. So I said, well, here's your perfect opportunity. We're going to be there. No one will know, and we'll be able to get it done. And he kept telling me to throw all the stuff that I had, not to lay anything in there. He wanted to see everything that I had. And I told him, I said, listen, I'm not worried about hitting you at all. That's not my problem. I'm worried about you getting jammed and jamming your thumbs. And in the game of golf, you can't afford to have sore thumbs. You can't play golf. So he assured me it'd be fine. So he had 4 at-bats, and the honest truth is Tiger's a phenomenal athlete. He can do just about anything he sets his mind to. But hitting a baseball at 94 miles an hour or a slider was not something he was going to be able to do.
No.
But he got a chance to see it. He did declare that he put one in play. He wasn't too happy when he found out I started to slow my fastball down so he could put one in play. But It would be like me saying I could qualify for the Masters. It's just an impossibility. Those two they just don't work together. So playing golf with him was one of the greatest thrills of my life, of course. Watching him play in the highlight of his career.
Yeah.
He loves baseball, loves sports, and we had a good time.
John, I need to let chat know we're running an auction live right now. While you're talking about Tiger, we're running an auction live so you can
personalize the
baseball, so we can get some bids in on that live right in front of you guys. Chat that John will sign the baseball for you guys.
Okay.
So carry on. I just want to let people know that the auction is running live down below.
What was your most embarrassing baseball moment? And what is it like pitching knowing Chipper has your back on defense? Good question, Ronnie. Coach Ronnie, thank you. Todd, thank you.
Yeah, I had a lot of embarrassing moments, but I'd say the most embarrassing moment I ever had is a play that'll live forever. I was pitching in San Diego, and it was a comebacker in between the mound and first base. And I always prided myself on being able to cover the entire field from foul line to foul line. And I was yelling that I've got it, I've got it. Julio Franco was coming in to get the ball. As I reached to get the ball, there's nobody at first base, and the runner's coming down the line. So I just I was losing my balance, and I started rolling, trying to tag the base, and I thought I was closer than what I was. And when I reached for the bag, I was nowhere close. He slid in, and it was one of the most humiliating plays. That could have been one of the greatest plays, but that's probably my most embarrassing moment because the way it looked and how it looked was not great. The other one would be I got hit in Colorado in an awkward place in my back, and I turned away from the pitch, and it hit me basically in my kidney, and it crushed me, and I melted awkwardly to the ground.
Like a 13-year-old.
I took a lot of grief for that too.
Was that the interview you had? They said you like a 13-year-old when you got hit.
Yeah, I basically crumbled to the ground. It was 94 miles an hour right in the back. Oh. And as far as Chipper playing defense, I always told him I'm going to give you the day off when I face right-handers because of my slider. And I said, if you get a bullet down there, it's my fault. You shouldn't be getting much action when I'm pitching. But he was a great third baseman, obviously, and we had 15 years together.
The same could probably be said about Andrew Jones, right? Didn't he? Like, I've heard stories where he saved you guys a lot of runs, man, in the center field, and how he's not in the Hall of Fame is a shock to me. But I'm sure he saved you guys a lot of games.
Yeah, I'm watching my puppy tear up a autograph hat right now.
Oh boy!
He's quiet, so I'm not gonna get it from him. But when my wife comes in, she's not gonna be happy. Andrew Jones, for me, was the best center fielder to ever play the game, and he saved me so many runs because I was a fly ball pitcher. And so when I think about my career and playing Andrew Jones playing behind me, he's a surefire Hall of Famer for me, and I hope he gets in next year or the following year because he sure deserves it.
Okay, John, your ball just went. The auction just closed. Got $190, and we Hula wanted to say to Lauren, Lauren, and
to Lauren. All right, I got the ball here. Lauren.
That's correct. Thank you, John. The chat wants to know if you have Stryker, my dog over there, if he's eating an autograph hat. He got a little taste of.
I have what?
If you had Stryker over there, my dog, you got a little taste of that yesterday, Stryker. Oh. I guess that's what I should give him.
I got a chance to see your dog.
Maybe we should give that to Stryker. That was Schmutzky. You remember meeting Sean, I think. Favorite dugout snack. A lot of great memories, but what sticks out the most to you? What do you think about the Braves rotation? Oh, sorry, one more, John. What do you think about the Braves rotation, and can the Braves make the playoffs? That's from a big Braves fan.
Holt wants to see the ball real quick, John, if you could.
The Braves. How can I show it? Like here?
Yep, perfect. Yep.
Bingo.
Perfect. He wants to take a snapshot of it.
Right.
Thank you, John.
You are welcome. I'm going to answer that question as I take this hat from my dog because now.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Braves,
you can take the camera with you. We don't care. I'm always leaving the chat. Are you guys having fun yet? Do we want to run another ball? He can sign. Oh,
that's what that hat now looks
he
like.
devoured that.
Yeah. It's luckily it's not one of my hats that I've worn, but yeah, he did devour it.
They want you to sell the hat. They say it's worth more now. Run the hat. They're gonna bid on the hat, John. They want you to run it.
If somebody wants this beat up hat, I'll certainly give it to them. It's nasty.
All right. Hey, chat, you want us to run the hat?
Yep, we're gonna run the hat. John, we're gonna run the hat.
Yep. I will set up an auction if you're good with it, John. I'll set up an auction.
Yep, someone wants your chewed up hat.
And the question with the Braves, they beat up in the rotation, unfortunately, but they're hanging in there. They've got some young pitchers that are really stepping up and holding the fort until they get some of their veteran guys going. It's gonna be tough because they've had so many injuries to their lineup. But they had 2 huge wins the last 2 nights to right the ship a little bit because they were heading in the wrong direction. So I still think they have an outside chance to nail down one of those postseason bursts, but they're going to need some help and they're going to need to get healthy. That's for sure.
You're welcome, sports fanatic. The gentleman that just asked that question is a huge Braves fan, and he streams on here as well. He sells single cards, and he is a gigantic Braves fan. So thank you for answering that question, he says.
So, John, real quick, you're good with auctioning off that hat, right?
I sure am. Chewed up hat by Ben.
All right. I will start the auction.
Once it dries to sign it.
Yep, we will. Okay, the auction's running live down below, chat.
Okay.
Dog chewed hat.
Frodo 28. Hi, sir. My name is. We're auctioning it.
It's running right now. It's at $20.
This is a question for. Hi, sir. My name is Dean, and I am a 12-year-old pitcher. What advice do you have for me to get better? There you go, Frodo.
12 years old, you've got a lot of time, but I think the biggest thing is I worry about year-round baseball for all of these youngsters who are trying to get to the next level in their sport. Baseball's not meant to play year-round. It's not meant to throw that hard that early in age. So I know that's what everybody's doing, and you're chasing the same system, but I think the biggest thing you can do when you're 12 is not only have fun, but work to continue to try to. I know mechanics are a big part of everything we do, and if you have the ability to repeat your mechanics, you stay healthier. And I think good practice makes good playing. I think if you practice the right habits and you do the things you have to do to get better, then you know what? You got a better chance to get better as you get older. But your body's going to grow in different ways. And whatever you're doing right now doesn't mean you're guaranteed to do it in 4 more years. So I just think staying healthy and having fun at this age is way more important than dominating.
Yeah, so John, the hat just sold for $130.
All right, I got it above, so Bear can't get it anymore. I got it in one of the places to.
So thanks, Jubby 8 for the purchase on that one.
Thank you.
Got a baseball and
Thank you, Jubby, on that. John, what memories do you have of the 91 World Series Game 7 in Minnesota? That is coming from Coot, who also donated all of the wax for us to rip to get your cards, and a huge Twins fan and a Smoltz fan.
Yes. Well, 1991 was a dream come true, almost. When I say dream come true, it's what I dreamt of playing when I got into baseball. I wanted to be in the best moments. And the World Series Game 7 is as good as it gets. And, you know, I pitched a bunch of those games when I was young in Lansing, in Maycroft, the street I lived on, and threw against a brick wall and put myself in all those situations that you can imagine seeing on TV. Never dreaming that I'd get that opportunity. And in 1991, lo and behold, I get that opportunity to represent the Atlanta Braves and pitch us into a World Series championship. So when you don't give up a run and you leave the game, that's kind of cruel. And you think you should be winning, but we didn't score any runs either. So I remember it's right where I wanted to be. I don't know where he's getting these hats, but he just got another hat.
Well, hey, you know what?
He knows we're doing a fundraiser.
You know, John, are you sure you didn't set this up? These guys like the chewed up hats.
I mean, this is unbelievable. I had no idea.
Oh. That's fantastic.
I dream of those games. You know where he's getting them? He's getting them. I see where he's getting them. He's getting them on my shelves off to the right. My wife can't get here soon enough to take him out of the office because I'm the only one here.
You can go take him out if you need to.
$130 for strikeout baseball.
Hey, let him keep chewing them. It's all donations for a good cause. Okay, we'll get that worked out, Jubby. Okay, for you.
And what kind of dog? Yeah, chat wants to know what kind of dog.
Oh, what kind of dog?
It's a purebred boxer.
Kick. Slot Petings to go.
Purebred boxer. He is 7 months old now. Looking for things to chew.
Yeah.
Do you collect any cards, John? AZ Cards is he's a big prospect, gets in-person autos at spring training, and good friend of ours. That's his question.
As far as the cards, do I collect cards? I used to collect a ton of cards. My buddy and I, Chuck, growing up, we put sets together the old-fashioned way. We just kept getting cards till we were able to build a set. And the coolest thing, we probably had somewhere between 20,000 cards over the course of our time. But the coolest thing was when I got my first card. When I opened up the 4th pack, I think. Once I knew I had a card out. I think the 4th pack saw my card, and that was one of the weirdest things I've ever been part of. It was also one of the coolest things, but to see your card, because we don't know what the pictures are going to be. We don't know what the action shot's going to be. It's not something you even have it. So it's kind of like you just don't know until you see it.
But your dad had you cards, right? Was your dad the one that had?
My dad had he made my first couple cards that were in circulation. One in my high school uniform, the Waverly Warriors, and then one in the Lakeland Tigers. Was a card that circulated that my dad had put together. So it was kind of like his business card. He was handing them out to people wherever he went. He traveled a lot, and you know, at the beginning, I was kind of like, nah, I don't think this is cool. And then over time, I realized how he was and how much joy he was getting to give people those cards, hoping one day that they'd be worth something. And luckily, they are.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we do. All of us, we love cards. 7,000 is that's like a week's worth, isn't it now?
Yeah.
we give 7,000 of base cards away. I think it's crazy. Watch one of these streams one time and see how it goes. You'll be totally shocked. Okay, next one is. What was it like playing? Well, we know Glavin and Maddox, and one more. Who do you think was better, him, Maddox, or Glavin? You can't ask that question. That's not fair. Who did you hate pitching to the most? We already answered that.
They were both great. They ended up in the same place.
Coolest dugout memory. That's a good one. That stumps him.
Who was?
Favorite dugout memory. Coolest dugout memory.
I think celebrating when we won a crazy game or a comeback, or playing tricks on people. The biggest thing we would do is you would blow a bubble and then set it on top of someone's hat, and they would have no idea that it was there, and then everybody would look at them with this bubble on their hat. We were like 5-year-olds trying to see how long that would last. The other thing would be, I think, just we would flick seeds at each other. I mean, there's a lot of things that you do to kill time when you're a starting pitcher, but I think the bubble gum on the hat was one of the favorites, because it took very delicate hands. It took another person to make him turn his head, and then you would set it right on top, and the bigger the bubble, the bigger the crowd would kind of him and haw and laugh, and then eventually the player would know and not be happy.
That's funny. What is your second favorite sport? We know baseball's your first. And what Phillies memory stands out the most? And do you have a favorite glove or several? If you can't remember that, let me know.
Well, you know what? Actually, basketball is my favorite sport. I just happen to be better at baseball, but basketball I enjoy playing growing up. And golf now is my passion, that I do a lot of golf and golf tournaments, so trying to get to that next level. And it's been pretty cool to play in some of the tournaments and people that I've played with. And I think competition is what I enjoy the most, but I always try to get as good as I can get. And what was the other question?
I think it was your best Phillies memory. What Phillies memory stands out? And your glove. You have a favorite glove? Or several?
Yeah, I mean, as far as gloves go, I think you break one in, it takes a while to break it in, and I would keep that glove for a long time. I probably only went through 3 gloves in my career. As a pitcher, it's not like a.
Will you type in the
Grab another hat, so I'm going to grab this one because it's a much nicer hat. Hey, no.
Autograph ball guy or autograph card is live.
Guys, we got Pick Your Card in the background running it live as an auction.
Yeah, Pick Your Card auction is running now. You pick any of the cards up here. If we got $100 donations, guys, that get you in for this. This is the ball signed by Mr. John himself, Maddox, Chipper, and Glavin. We will be running another one of those. That's the World Series 1995 ball. Very, very rare. Okay, what is there anything you want?
Not many of those.
No, there's not. They are. We looked. We know they're crazy hard to find.
Yeah.
What do you want to say? Anything? What you want to tell us about? Got any thing else about strikeout baseball? I think Jeff. How crazy is it working with him? I guess would be one of my questions. He's been dreaming about this stadium for over 20 years.
Jeff's passion. Yeah, this is something that he's brought to all of us, and now we're close to having that come into his dream. And starting something from the ground up and a concept and the passion that he has led it to connecting with me, and then now the community and all the sponsors and everybody and things like this help out, go a long way, because we want kids to have something that they may never have had before, and an option that isn't maybe just inside or dealing with technology. It's actually going outside and playing a game of baseball. So we're excited, and I know nobody's more excited than Jeff. And I applaud him for his perseverance and persistency to see this through, even after all these years of trying to launch it. And it'll be a special day, no doubt, in the near future when we open up this ballpark. And I just know that, you know, I get to come along. I'm honored that he wanted to use my name for the stadium. I don't have a lot of things named after me on purpose, and that's not what I'm about. But this being from Lansing and me being from Lansing seemed like the right fit and the right cause. So we're really excited about it.
That's great.
So what year are these packs?
Those, you've got the 89, I think you have, do you have the
Yeah, he has
orange
89.
ones, or do you have the
I think
red ones?
Those are your rookie year, John. 89.
It's the Donruss 89.
Okay, he's gonna open
I
up,
forgot this comes with a puzzle.
yep.
Warren
Right.
Spahn, right?
Guys, if he pulls, we're going to start the auction right now for the packs that John's opening. He will sign it right in front of you if he pulls
We got,
one.
Atlee Hammaker, left-handed pitcher. Bob Kipper, a left-handed pitcher. Face these guys. Jose Alvarez. This is one of my greatest friends in the world. He didn't play a lot in the big leagues with the Braves, but he was so important to my life. That's pretty cool. My first pack, I opened him.
Yep.
Mitch Webster, Mickey Sasser, catcher for the Mets. Mike Moore, now an agent. Man, this is the big Cecil Fielder. 50 home runs for the Tigers. Faced him in the All-Star game. Threw a wild pitch. Matter of fact, I threw 3 wild pitches in that All-Star game. It's a record that'll never be broken. Al Newman with the Twins faced him. Don Mattingly, the Diamond Kings. Don Mattingly, I'll tell you what, he was one of the best for the Yankees. Jesse Barfield with the Toronto Blue Jays. Alan Anderson with the Minnesota Twins. Yeah, man, I got one right here. This is my favorite player growing up for the Detroit Tigers. Alan Trammell.
There you go.
Alan Trammell, when I signed with the Tigers, because I signed so late, I went to the big leagues with the Tigers to train because there was no rookie ball. It had already passed. And Alan Trammell was the first one to shake my hand and said, "Hey, my name is Alan Trammell. If there's anything I can do for you, you let me know." He's a class guy, now in the Hall of Fame. And I am forever grateful for Alan Trammell.
That's great. I did not.
Dave Magadan, I faced him with the Mets in my debut. Actually won in my debut against the Mets. And he also gave me his number when I got to Boston, which is really cool, and I'll never forget that. Pat Perry, not really familiar with Pat Perry and the Cubs, but Bruce Sutter, he was the man for the Atlanta Braves, saving all those games. Bear, I'm going to have to put you outside this door here in a second. All right, we got another pack of cards.
B-Dub won that, so
Yeah.
go through 5 of them for you, B-Dub.
All right. Well, we got a card of a manager for the San Francisco Giants, Bob Brenly. Face Bob. I'll tell you what, Bear.
You can take him out if you need to,
Here
John.
Soon enough.
John, you're fine if you need to take him out.
Glenn Wilson, and Dickie Don with the Padres. Let's see. No. This
Look at
pack.
the title.
Herm Washington, Bob Denier,
No.
Dave Meads, Pedro Guerrero. Pedro Guerrero played for the St. Louis Cardinals, a great right-handed hitter. Jerry Royce, left-handed pitcher. Jeff Russell with the Rangers. David West, rookie card. That was the guy that I faced in AAA with the Tidewater Mets when I got traded over to the Atlanta Braves. Walt Weiss, played with Walt Weiss, one of the greatest teammates ever. Jeff Montgomery and Dave Anderson with the Dodgers.
John, I've seen this question asked a few times. Somebody wants to know if you and Bryson DeChambeau would break 50 if you're a two-man scramble.
Great question, and the answer is yes.
Oh, are you working on your card, John? Your PGA card or something? I don't know how that goes with the.
I just played in some fine tournaments, but the ability to get my card is a little bit too hard to do. So I'll never get a card, but I'm always trying to qualify for something.
So you keep busy to qualify. Is that you play in Tahoe often, right? Is that the tournament that you? Is that every year? I know you've been interviewed a few times and talked about the Tahoe.
Year.
That's one of the big
year,
ones.
July. It is one of the big ones.
Yeah.
It is one of the big ones. I finished second a couple times. You ready for another pack?
Yep, go ahead. We want you to rip 5 of those for B-Dub Cast. He's a friend of mine, and he bought those 5 packs. Hopefully you hit one of your own. You can just keep ripping. We'll worry about running them. You just keep ripping. We love it. We had
Scott Bancat, Mike Harkey's. Let's see. Got to get one of mine, don't we? Kurt Manwaring.
Yes, we're looking for one of yours.
Harry Templeton. Fred McGriff just got in the Hall of Fame last year. Another great teammate. Terry Poole. Luis Alicea. Steve Clyburn. Mark Grace. He was one of the toughest left-handed hitters to face for the Chicago Cubs. He was awesome.
And everybody says, tell us stories. They all want, tell us stories. Tell us stories. This is so awesome. Your favorite my favorite pitcher. We've got all these wonderful, wonderful things that they're saying about you in the chat. When did you realize that you had the potential to go far in baseball, and what was your best college offer?
Well, you know what? I knew where I was going to go to college. Growing up in Lansing, I wanted to be a Spartan. I was going to play basketball, and I was definitely geared up, signed, sealed, delivered to go to Michigan State. Had my dorm picked out. Man, oh man, Bear. I had
go take care of it.
I had my room picked out, my roommates, and I had everything set up to go to my first class on Monday morning. And I signed Sunday night to sign with the Tigers. So my life changed within, Sunday's the last day you can sign professionally. Monday would have been my first class. I went through orientation. I did all the things you have to do to go to college. And, it turned out obviously okay, but I was a wreck for 2.5 weeks trying to decide, should I go to the pros or should I go to college? And, at the last minute, I felt ready, and the Tigers signed me, got me close to first round money, and I just never looked back. So that was a lost a lot of sleep those 2 weeks trying to figure out what to do, but at the end of the day, it was a incredible time in my life, and I would have loved to see what college basketball was like at Michigan State, but you know what? It turned out okay.
No, I was, if you wanted to take the questions.
Oh, yeah. So John got another question. This is a personal one for me, as my favorite player growing up was Mark Lemke. Can you tell me a story about Mark Lemke for my buddy Squigman that's on the chat here too? We're lifelong Braves fans.
Yeah, Mark Lemke was one of those players that always had his uniform dirty. He was the right guy at the right place. He'd get those big hits for us in the postseason. He may not hit 300, but boy, he sure did in the postseason. And he's one of my favorites because he wasn't going to let a moment get too big for him. And look, he found a way to play in the big leagues for quite some time and get it done. And he was a big part of our defense, and he came up with some big hits in the postseason and the playoffs. And Mark Lemke is a throwback player that you don't see very often anymore, probably because of the generational change and what they're asking players to do and how they're doing it. But boy, he was right for us.
There you go.
All right.
We've got another one.
Yep. Got any superstition before I start?
And did you enjoy starting better or closing better?
Oh, man, I really enjoyed starting more than I did closing. But closing taught me a lot. I had to learn how to do it on the fly. I tell people all the time, when you're a starter, everything is structured. It's done in a no surprises. Like, it's a perfect scenario if you do it well. They're once every 5 days, and you're 4 days in between to get ready for that 5th day. Closing, you kind of go by the seat of your pants. You never know when you're going to pitch. There's so much adrenaline. It's just a big rush when you come in the game. I tell people it's like if you drive the speed limit and you take the same route to work or school, that's starting. If you get in a NASCAR and go 300 miles an hour and take a different route every single day, that's closing. And I learned to like it, but I prefer to start. And I was fortunate to be able to do both and finish my career as a starter. As far as superstitions, I wouldn't say that I was had to do these things, but I did do things that worked. Every day that I pitched, I would have pancakes. That was my meal, late afternoon, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. I'd eat a big pile of pancakes, and it stuck with me all the way to the time I started. And there was a stretch where at home I had won 7 games in a row, and on that day of the game, I would get on my riding lawnmower and I would just relax and cut grass. And don't ask me why, but I was relaxed on the lawnmower. I had 20 acres where I lived, and it just was real peaceful. I could think about things, and I couldn't tell anybody that's what I was doing, but I couldn't do it on the road. Couldn't find a riding lawnmower anywhere on the road to keep that streak going.
You probably could nowadays. Okay, Chris.
Nowadays, for sure.
Yeah. Chris from my hometown here, and huge fan of yours. His son is a fantastic young travel baseball player. How hard was it to decide on Tommy John surgery? It obviously worked out, and he says he believes that you are the only pitcher in the Hall of Fame that had Tommy John surgery.
That is correct. I am the only pitcher right now. There probably will be another one just because everyone's having them, and by chance, there's going to be somebody that gets in there. But I tell you this, Tommy John surgery is not something you want to have. I know a lot of people think it's no big deal. It's like a Band-Aid. It's not something you ever want to have. It has changed the careers and saved the careers of a lot of big league pitchers, but it's not a surgery you want to go in and have that chance that, in a year and 2 months that you're going to be perfect or back to where you were. So I was a last result for me. I had 14 years of starting before I had to have my Tommy John, and then I had 7 more years after. So I'm very fortunate that the surgery was out there, and I just tell people all the time, it's not something that you just want to have happen just because there's a lot of success behind it.
Yes, it does seem like they're getting it quicker and quicker now, right? The ones that need it, they don't.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a lot of myths about it, and I've been trying in my Hall of Fame speech and everywhere I go tell parents this is not normal. But parents keep buying into it, and their 12-year-olds are having Tommy John surgeries.
That's ridiculous, but I shouldn't say my opinion, I guess. Talk to us a little bit about the Hall of Fame. You go back and do the inductions for the inductees. I don't know what the words for everyone that's in, correct?
Yeah, I only missed one because I had hip replacement last year, but I went this year, and I'll try to go every single year. The Hall of Fame is a special place. Less than 1% of all the players who've ever played the game are there and get enshrined, and I'm obviously very lucky to be one of them. And when you go there, you realize how incredible your journey was, and then the journey of those who are getting inducted. And it's just an incredible team to be part of. So it's a special place. If you can get there, I always tell people, you should get there. And it's not maybe the easiest place to get there, but when you're there, it's special, and you get to, kind of drink out of a fire hose of baseball immortality.
Just had a question come through. Do you think Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame? Speaking of Hall of Fame.
Yankees already answered that question, huh? Okay, sorry. Go ahead. I was talking to somebody else.
I think whenever this subject comes up, there's choices in life that people get to make. And I always say, I'm most proud of I did it the right way. I've never feared or done anything other than what is right in the game of baseball. And the biggest thing about choices are there's consequences. And there are probably some that have made it to the Hall of Fame who have done steroids. I'm not condoning it. I don't think it's right. I think it sends the wrong message. And I think, unfortunately, when you talk about Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, fair or not, they become the poster boys for steroids. And there are many in that field that have done the same thing and don't get kind of the grief or the criticism that those two get, because those two were the greatest to ever do what they did at their positions. But when you have scenarios that play out that can be an unfair advantage, that's where you have to draw the line and say that others did not do that, and I just don't think it's within the confines of the Hall of Fame. And again, I don't have a vote, but I know that that's what reporters and they're trying to figure out, who did what. It's a spot for them, but over time, it'll have to now go through the Veterans Committee, and I don't think the Veterans Committee will ever change their stance on that.
I'm looking for one of your cards as well, John, while you talk. We're going to run another ball. Go ahead.
Yeah, John, we're going to throw up for auction here another one of your autographed baseballs there that you have in front of you.
The personalized ones.
So let's get that auction going here.
Kirby Puckett. I'm trying, Copson. I'm trying to get you one.
All right, chat. We're going to start the auction for a live in-person autograph ball. Auction's live down below.
They'll personalize it for you.
So the auction's live down below, so get your bids in.
Did you ever go back to college, John? That's a
I did
question from the
not.
chat.
Every year in the off season, I would go to instructional league, which is in between your seasons. It's the top prospects, and that took up the time for me to go and try to take classes in between. So it never worked out for me to do that. And at the same time, 21, I ended up playing 24 years professionally, with 3 of those years being in the minor leagues and then 21 being in the big leagues. So that pretty much takes you through all those times that if it would have been a shorter career, there's no doubt I would have gone back to college and pursued that as well.
Okay. Buddy, I think it was at Deuce. What do you want to Quinn? Quinn.
Quinn.
That's correct. Congratulations on an amazing career. Amazing career.
Gotta do it.
We've already answered a lot of these questions, guys. You're coming in late. I apologize. But
Yeah, you guys can watch the stream back if any questions that you missed.
Mr. Smoltz, you are a legend, sir. Outside of yourself, who would you rank top pitcher on that peak Braves staff? The question we weren't going to answer.
On the Brave staff?
Mm-hmm. And then we've...
Braves, or just the ones that I played with?
I think the ones you played with. Your
Smoltz
era.
era.
Smoltz era.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Greg Maddux is one of the greatest all-time pitchers. And what he did and how he did it, probably tough to duplicate. Of course, Glavine went over 300 as well, but man, both of them were so special, and I got a chance to play with them both. It was definitely the greatest ride that I've ever had, because their expectations and their level of greatness spoke for itself. I had to do my own thing. Come playoff time, I was able to shine a little bit and do what I always wanted to do in the playoffs. In the regular season, I didn't quite put up the same kind of numbers they did, but in the postseason, I was able to kind of shine. So that's what made us special.
Speaking of those great pitchers you were with, John, so I know Maddux and Glavine got the commercial for Chicks Dig the Long Ball, but who was really the better hitter?
Well, the reason they had to do that commercial, and I'm a little bitter over it, because I was the only one that had a homer at the time, and I wasn't a Nike guy, so I couldn't be part of the commercial, and they were Nike guys. It's a brilliant commercial.
Yes.
I think one of the best all-time commercials as far as players go. So some might say I'm jealous. I'm not jealous. I'm just bitter.
Because I remembered you as being the better hitter myself, so that's why I wanted to ask that question.
I had all the power. Glavine had all the hitting. He could hit and slap it around. But I ended up hitting 5 home runs before I tore my shoulder, and I was always trying to swing for the fences. Every time I went up to the plate, I was swinging for the fences unless I had to bunt. So I enjoyed that part. We all took pride in our hitting. And, at the end of the day, we all got a chance to do something pretty special. I won only 1 Silver Slugger. I think Glavine won 2. And so he gets the nod as far as average goes. My average wasn't very good.
Okay, I heard from Jeff that last night's game was just incredible. Would you tell us about that, what you were telling Jeff? And then we want to know your favorite game that you've commentated.
Well, it was a crazy game because the Yankees and the Red Sox is the game that I did. And I've done a lot of baseball games, but the biggest thing that was crazy about that game is that there were so many unbelievable plays that could have been made. There was the the right fielder, Abreu, jumped over the fence, caught the ball, landed in the stands, and as he hit the seat, he dropped the ball, so it ended up being a home run. He had another play that was over the bullpen wall that he almost made an incredible play. There's just so many things, twists and turns. It was 11-8, extra innings. The game was truly a exciting game that had just about everything in it.
And is your favorite moment? Is that the favorite one to commentate? Or
Yeah.
did I get your question answered, guys? I hope so. Is Griffey the greatest player ever? We've got. Did you ever think about coaching, especially with the Braves? And what do you think of the NLDH?
Well, Ken Griffey Jr. was in the other league most of the years that I didn't get a chance to compete against him at the highest point of his career. Unfortunately, I got him when he was on the downside. He was still great with Cincinnati. I mean, he might be one of the greatest players of our generation for sure. And then, give me the other two questions.
I think it was. Okay, now I better look back too. We got. Oh, that's not the right one. I don't even remember.
Yeah, we got another one.
I don't even remember it now.
So
here it is.
We had a fun
Did
question.
you ever think about coaching, especially with the Braves? And what do you think of the NLDH?
The DH, I'm glad it's a universal DH because they're playing by two different rules. Hurts teams come postseason, and I think it just keeps pitchers healthier. As far as coaching goes, there was a time I would have looked at it, but when you play 21 years in the big leagues, you spent your whole life away from your family. It would have been very cruel to kind of do that in that fashion, and I really wasn't too keen on that. But I certainly would have enjoyed the strategies and the ability to get people to play at a high level. That intrigued me a lot.
What was it like playing with Kenny Powers? I mean, John Rocker, favorite Braves sportscaster? And I guess we want to know your starting nine. I can repeat those if you need me to. Braves sportscaster.
Was that last?
Braves sportscaster John Rocker and starting nine.
Yeah, the sportscaster we got. I mean, we were so blessed to have Skip Carey, Pete Van Wieren, Joe Simpson. I loved them all. I spent a lot of time with them. When you're there 21 years, you know, you're basically, you become family. You travel together. I love joking with them. Never thought I'd be a broadcaster. Never dreamt I'd be a broadcaster. And, you know, it just worked out that way. As far as John Rocker goes, you know, he was in the bullpen when I was starting. Never really got to the bullpen with him. John Rocker was somebody that made some headlines, but he wasn't that kind of person that he got portrayed to be. And, you know, everything always gets blown out of proportion. And then something about the nine.
Who would your starting nine be?
Starting nine would be, that's a good question. Right field is David Justice. First base would have to be Fred McGriff.
I thought he was going to say
third
Tony.
base, of course, is Skipper. Shortstop. Maybe Rafael Furcal. Second base. We had a bunch of second basemen.
You could skip it.
Second base would be I'm going to get back to second base. Left field. And this is only the players that I played with, obviously not the whole Braves generation, because then you bring in Hank Aaron, Dale Murphy in center field, left field. Left field's got a lot of options. Ronnie catching, I'm going with my buddy Greg Olson. Man, we're best of friends, and he was catching some of my biggest games
This is a good one here.
that I ever pitched. So I'm going to go there. Second base, I guess we're going to go Mark Lemke.
Beeping. That's good.
Got a question here, John. What's the story about your last game played? Is there a fun little story about your last game played?
Not really, but it was in St. Louis, and I tried to come back with Boston. It didn't work out very well. I got a chance to end my career with St.
Oh, another one. Who? Oh, go ahead.
I started my career with St. Louis, striking out 7 in a row in my first game, and my game was in the postseason. I had a chance to strike out 5 in a row or 6 in a row, and give up a hit. So that was my last game of my career, was with St. Louis.
You got it.
Okay. Yes. We've got 2 questions. I'll just do this one first. Trade deadline coming up. How did you feel when traded from hometown Tigers to the Braves? That's from Eddie O.
Yeah, that was the worst feeling in the world. I was devastated at the time, and I was not having a good year. I didn't think, that you're wanted when you get traded, but then you realize somebody wants you. They traded for you. And then the opportunity was so incredible with Atlanta that it turned into an incredible career. So the best thing that ever happened to me was to get traded, even though at the time it felt like the worst thing that ever happened to me.
I can hear that. One more for me, and then I'll have Ben read some on, well, I guess 2. A55 got to hit against Horatio. He struck me out, but got a hard line foul ball. Should I brag about this?
He hit against Horatio Ramirez.
Yep.
I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big league pitcher, big league career. Not that easy to hit a baseball. So yeah, you can brag about that.
There you go.
Just don't turn it into a home run though.
The story that goes back with the what's your favorite fish to catch? Yeah. Was there an umpire that you knew the strike zone would be smaller and tougher to get strikes called?
Oh yeah, Gary Darling, by far, notorious small strike zone, and I think I had the most walks ever with him, and we had a couple run-ins. So I'd say Gary Darling.
Okay, we're going to, before Ben goes, we're going to run another one of the balls that you have, John, a personalized one. So it is live.
Yeah, while that auction's running, John, got a question from Adam Maddock over at BitG. Where did it run off to? Where did you say it, Adam? Wanted to make sure. Oh, your favorite Brave of all time. Your personal favorite.
Brave of all
Or
time?
no, favorite moment as a Brave, sorry. Favorite moment as a Brave.
Oh. I mean, the biggest thing, we played to win a championship, and I've had a lot of great individual moments, but my favorite moment of all time with the Atlanta Braves is dogpiling on the field and winning a championship. There's nothing better. You spend 240 days together trying to accomplish that goal, starting all the way at spring training. And so there's nothing better when you get a chance to act like fools out on the field and jump all over each other, knowing that you've accomplished the ultimate goal. That's by far the best.
All right. Memorabilia Daddy, I think he's a family member of Jeff, wants to know about the jersey on the wall behind you.
Yeah, so that's my World Series winning jersey, where we won the World Series, and it'll be something that unfortunately, is the only one we won, so it's pretty special. But, you know, going 14 years to the postseason, you would think we would have won more, but it's still such a unique dream and gift to have that jersey in the background. So, you know, it's something they can't take away from us. So that's why it's in the frame. That's why it's in my office, and it's pretty cool.
Do you guys talk about that as like when you guys get together, your former teammates, of like the what could have been, should have been, because you guys were such a great dominant force for that many years?
Well, you know, we all know nothing like this ever going to happen again. No one's ever going to win 14 years in a row. But we do talk about the what ifs and could have beens, and we had plenty of opportunities. When you lose your first 8 World Series games by 1 run, you can't get much closer than that. But it all counts the same. It's still a loss. So you know that a play here, a hit here, a pitch there, and we got more championships to talk about. But that's how close we came. And, you know, our run was unprecedented. But the more you go and the more you stick yourself in that situation, the more criticism you're going to deal with. That's just kind of the nature of sports. They want to know why you didn't do something instead of how special what you were doing. You know, I never understood that about sports, but I kind of know that when you don't, if you never go, you never have to face the music. But when you go, then it's all about winning, because only one team's going to win. And when you go as many times as we did, you finish second a lot, and that's all people want to talk about.
That ball is going to go, John, to Reese Daly, Reece, Daly,
Reece,
Daly, Daly.
Just the word David?
Daly, Daly.
Like John Daly.
Like John Daly, only Reese Daly.
Okay, so Daily or Daly?
The second one. Daly.
Gotcha. Right?
Okay. Go ahead, Ben.
All right. So from Collects Cards, he wants to know if Maddox got a wider strike zone.
You broke up. Say that again.
They want to know if Maddox had a wider strike zone than everybody else.
Oh yeah. Maddox definitely had a wider strike zone. But you know what? In fairness to Maddox and Glavine, who had bigger strike zone, it's because they put pressure on the umpire and threw the ball absolutely perfect every single time. So when you throw it in an area that is just off the strike zone, you do that constantly, you're going to get those calls. So it's really a credit to their precision and their ability to maximize command is why they were getting perceived calls outside the strike zone.
There you go. Are you up, Ben, or you want me to ask this?
Go ahead.
one?
I'm gonna update the wheel for everybody.
We all want to know about the error card.
Yeah.
This one here.
Too bad they made too many of those. Or that really would be a gem.
Do you sign them all, John? I didn't mean to interrupt. Do you sign them all? That's not me. I've seen a couple of them. I don't.
No, I usually, if somebody tells me to do it, that's when I.
Okay.
When I'll do it.
I didn't know.
You know, there's been some people that want me to sign across the space, but I think that's kind of disrespectful. So.
Yeah.
Would you have preferred it being the other way? Your picture on his card?
You know, we had a running joke for the longest time. Glavine said that's looking I've ever been, and I used to tell him those are the best stats he ever had at that point. So it kind of worked both ways. We've had a lot of fun with that card, and you don't know at that point, you know, where our careers are going to go. And I think that year there was just a ton of mistakes, a ton of errors. Just one of those fluky years. in the card business, but it sure would have been nice to have a lot less of those errors. So, like you said, they would be way, way, way more expensive and way more valuable.
That one's a big error. That's funny though. We're gonna run a golf ball next, John. You do have those. Somebody's asking for, yes, he is a very good golfer, Archer, and we've already hit on Tiger, so we won't go back to that. What was your walk-up song, John? And that's it. Go ahead.
What was my walk-up song?
Uh-huh.
So I thought that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard when they came to me in spring training and they asked me, we need a walk-up song when you come out of the bullpen. So I was closing then, and I really didn't think I just thought it was dumb. So I didn't give them one. I said, play whatever you want. I'm not really paying attention to those songs when I come into the game. And so I didn't pay attention. I don't know what they were playing till this one particular day. Dancing Queen was kind of playing on the loudspeaker when I came out of the pen to go face the ninth inning, and that's not really a macho song to be coming out as a closer. So they apologized, and I said, well, you made your point indirectly. I'll now get a song, and it was AC/DC Thunderstruck, and the whole place went crazy when they heard the song, and then of course the rest was history. By the way, I got this cool golf ball number 29, and I signed it, and it says Hall of Fame on the side. So these balls were made for me a long time ago.
That's awesome. It just sold, John. It just sold, so we appreciate it. If you got another one of those, we'll run that. And then could you show us could you put the last ball that you signed up for us so they can snap a screenshot of it, the baseball? He's asking for. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Got it.
Could you tell us about Marmaduke? And
Marmaduke was a name given to me by Dale Murphy when I got to the big leagues. It was, he said I reminded him of that cartoon character, the dog, the big goofy dog. And it stuck. I had a bone across on the top of my locker, and it just stuck. Call me Duke, Marmaduke. Call me whatever you want when I get to the big leagues. That's no problem there. So when Dale Murphy gives you a nickname, it sticks.
There you go. You got one, Ben?
Yep. This one's been asked a couple times from Billy the Kid. Who is the best poker player teammate you played with? And he knows you're friends with Josh Arya.
Yeah, so back in the day, we played cards on the plane. Played a lot of cards. We played spades, we played hearts, we played pluck. We played some poker games. Maddox is that calculated kind of like all by the numbers guy. So him living in Vegas, him being very strategic in everything he does, he was probably the one that played by the book. None of us else did that. So when you have a lot of time flying or rain delays, I think the game of choice was spades, hearts, and pluck. Those are the three games we played a lot. You can play some of those games individually, but mainly it's partners. And then in the plane, we would probably play cards on a West Coast trip with about 4 or 5 guys. So we had our groups of fun. We never did anything that was going to get anybody really mad and take away from, the things we were trying to accomplish.
Tip wants to know. He's asked a lot.
Tip?
Ask
Yep.
him.
Tip the Barber wants to know the best memory in St. Louis.
He's a Cardinals fan.
Well, St. Louis was one of my favorite. It really was the best way to end my career if it wasn't going to be in Atlanta. They treated me with such respect. They made me feel like I was one of their own. It was a family. They gave me a standing ovation twice before I did anything for them, and I'll just never forget that. I tried to give them everything I had left my last year coming back from shoulder surgery, as I did with Boston. But the amount of respect that the fan base had for me, I'll never forget.
Go ahead, Ben. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Jam and Jay has been in here all day. He's been asking favorite non-Brave teammate and who was your playing partner for cards?
The playing partner for cards altered. Greg Olson was when we were together. He was between him and Charlie Liebrandt. When we had other games, obviously it would vary. Chipper and I played a lot of cards together. A lot of games. I would say non-Brave favorite teammate or favorite player. I mean, there's a lot of them, but even though he was a temporary Brave, Adam Wainwright was one of my favorite human beings. We only got to spend about a year together, and then ironically, I ended my career in St. Louis, and that's where he was. So he's just an awesome dude. But I've gotten a chance to meet a lot of different players, work with a lot of different people, and you never forget the fun you have with some of these people.
Awesome. Can you show the golf ball, John? And go ahead, Ben. You rip more wax or something.
Yeah. Since we're here to raise some money, let's start ripping the.
There's the golf ball.
Yep.
It says 29 on the red number, and then on the side it says Hall of Fame.
That's awesome. Those are awesome.
So I have a good amount of those. If people want some of those.
John, we're going to start another live auction here. So if you want to go start ripping open a couple packs, that way, if hopefully the winning bidder can see you open up your own rookie card.
We're trying to get you to pull your own card.
So guys, live down below is the auction.
Here.
What'd you say, John? I didn't hear you.
It's been dry trying to find my card all of a sudden.
We've ripped a ton, and we didn't get you. We got one, I think, didn't we?
One or two, yeah.
One or two, yeah.
And we got. This is my fourth Fred McGriff.
We already talked. Hartsville.
What?
We already spoke about that, honey.
I haven't seen two of the same cards. There's two Fred McGriffs in this pack. One MVP, one Diamond Kings. Huh.
There you go. These five are gonna. If you get these, the average Arizonian guys. Ben's gonna tell you about this World Series ball here that we have. That is.
Yeah, well, I'll.
$100.
So a lot of you guys have been in the chat for a while now. John, I'm going to just go over this real quick while you're going there. If you bid anytime, every bid or total amount over $100, so a couple of you guys are $200, $300, $400, you get an entry into winning this autographed baseball with Chipper Jones, Tom Glavine, the man right there, John Smoltz, and Greg Maddox. So all four of them signed on a 95 World Series baseball. So every $100 spent gets you an entry in for a wheel spin at the end of the show here. And also, I think you got one, right? Oh, I think we got one that we're going to auction off at the very end too. So giving one away and also being able to bid on one. So hopefully John can pull us in one of his rookies.
You did 2 golf balls, right, John? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I
He
can
did
do
2.
as
Yeah,
many as you want.
Yeah, they were asking. We're going to keep running them, so.
What is, I know this was an earlier question from memorabilia. What is your favorite piece of memorabilia that you've got from a former player, teammate, you name it? What's your favorite piece in your little memorabilia collection, or from your dad? I heard your dad gave you quite a collection.
Yeah, that's a great question. I never really was much of a collector. I'm proud of the things that I've done, and I do have a lot of things from my playing days. Never really asked a lot of people for autographs, just because. I would say probably, man, that's a great question. I would say I've got a pretty cool picture with Tiger Woods, and the memory of playing a lot of golf with him, and just having that picture and playing golf with him at Augusta, and just playing golf in general. It's pretty cool. Also got a Muhammad Ali torch for the Olympics here in '96, so that's pretty cool. That's not something you get every day.
Yeah, that's a very unique piece.
I've never really held anything to such high regard to where if it was gone, it wouldn't crush me. But I'm kind of easygoing with that. There is a lot of cool things in my basement, and artifacts of things, but nothing to the point where. But that's a good question. I have to do some my own research one day.
Yeah, here's another good question from Bull. I think he just hopped in the chat. Funniest mound visit speech from Rocking Leo Mazzoni.
Yeah, they were more serious than they were laughing.
Arizonian's gonna pick him.
I'd say there's this one particular. I was having a tough year in '91, and I had already gotten chewed out a little bit by the catcher, and so I was already kind of, struggling with that. And then Leo came out and decided he was going to chew me out. And I just basically said, I just got done being chewed out by the catcher. Now you're coming out here and chewing me out. We kind of laughed about it later, but he was trying his best to try to get me going. But I just think when pitching coaches come out to the mound, they're trying to reset the brain of the pitcher, because it's usually not going the way you want to. You don't get mound visits when you're going great. So there's probably wasn't too many funny ones. There's more funny ones in the side on the bullpen, but not so much during the game in the heat of the battle.
Yeah, I got another. There's a great question from Collects Cards. How do you stay looking so much younger than Chipper?
How did I say what?
So much younger looking than Chipper.
Well,
Is that the Chipper question?
I would say
I got one next.
I would say some of my habits away from the game, on how active I try to be, and I've played a lot of competitive basketball, and I have 2 incredible grandchildren that keep me younger. I don't know, a little genetics, I guess.
Run some more cards, please.
It's all in the eye of the beholder, I guess.
Hey, John, we've got a bunch of Phillies fans that want to know who was the toughest Phillies player to pitch against and why.
Toughest Philly hitter?
Mm-hmm.
I would say I always had a hard time with Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley. They usually batted back to back. I'm sure there's going to be others that statistically might have my number, but Chase Utley was very difficult for me, along with Jimmy Rollins in the heyday of all those years against the Phillies. And I didn't mind the sluggers as much, but those guys they they just didn't give in, and they didn't swing and miss a lot. I didn't like those kind of guys.
There we go. How about the Yankees? I don't know why we've got Yankees fans in our chat.
Yeah, John, right? We don't like Yankees around here, right?
But they want to know.
Well, the Yankees were obviously the cream of the crop, and whenever you go up against them, and you know, we all know we should have won '96, but we didn't. I fared well against the Yankees for the most part, except for my comeback from Tommy John, and then when I pitched for Boston, did not fare well at all against the New York Yankees. But in my days with the Atlanta Braves, I feel like that always brought out the best of me, and there were so many great Yankee players, of course. In 1996, I faced them twice and only gave up one earned run, but I got a loss. So that's how baseball goes sometimes. You know, it doesn't always follow the way it should, but that 96 series, they were loaded, and they came back and beat us. So you got to tip your hat to them. They did what they had to do.
What do you? This is from me, John. I'm a huge Indians fan. Love the tribe forever. Tell me what you think about their season this year. So far.
Well, they're catching everybody by surprise, mainly because I don't think there was a ton of things expected out of them, and they have a tremendous bullpen, and they're deadly from the sixth inning on. They're one of the best teams in baseball because of their bullpen, and they just have a lot of the right mix. And you know, although Terry Francona is not managing them anymore, they haven't missed a beat, and they're a tough team to play against because you got to have the lead late, and if you don't, you lose. That's a good thing to have from a player standpoint when you know that's a strength in your team.
I love Tito. He's one of my absolute favorites. Is he one of your favorites? I know you didn't play with him for very long, but you speak very highly of him.
Yeah. No. I mean, he is. Now, here we go. I got my Tony Gwynn nemesis card. Right out of the gate, Tony Gwynn.
You're still ripping them then, huh? Oh, Matt just got there.
I'm still ripping them. I haven't had any luck.
Okay, we're going to run another golf ball. You want to run a golf ball?
Another golf ball?
Yep. What is your... Oh.
Yes, Matt Rob, that you pick a card on the background, and we're putting it aside, and we're going to send them to John to have him autograph them. So pick a card.
He wants to know what is John's favorite card, and that's the card that he wants. What's your favorite card, John? Do you have one?
I like the one of me robbing a home run. You see me way over the fence, and like I said, you never know which action shot they're going to take, but that's my favorite. That I used to shag and try to rob home runs all the time, and that's my favorite card.
There you go. You've got a lot of them. I mean, you've got a lot of great pictures. What's the...
All right, we're going to run a golf ball next here, John. So do you have another golf ball by you? We're going to run the auction live down below, chat, to bid on another signed golf ball.
It's got the HOF on it, given him a long time ago. And let's run another Givey, too. We'll do... this is a cool card we run now. That's a good picture of him right there.
All right.
Top row, second from the right, blue background.
All right. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
It's a good one.
Bone, we already answered that one, sweetheart. No, they're not floofy. You're wrong.
So Sable Walker just got the golf ball. John, if you want to sign one and throw it up there for him so he can take a look at it. A lot of things on the chat here. They like to screenshot kind of what they're getting.
Which one? For Sable, the golf ball? Sure.
Yeah.
To Chris on the golf ball. We can do that, of course.
Put 2 Chris?
Yes,
Is that what he
please.
wants?
Yes, please. Thank you. Hi, Friar fan. Nice. Thanks for coming
Where
in.
did I put my Sharpie?
We already answered that question too, Bonnet. Who was your first strikeout, John?
Daryl Strawberry.
Oh, really?
Yep, of the Mets.
There you go. I'm going to probably patch. First strikeout. Matt wants to know your first strikeout. There you go. That's a good one. Oh, great first strikeout. Okay, we'll get Jeff's questions now. The boss.
Oh, get ready, John. Yeah, Jeff's going to be asking some questions. He knows the inside dirt.
Well, he really wants to know. I would like to hear the story from you about your dad's favorite, what your proudest moment is, and of course, what your father's proudest moment of your career was.
I would probably say, the one thing he always talked about, not only representing myself on the field, but off the field. One of the accomplishments I know we both share in, and I think he was super proud of, is the Roberto Clemente Award. And that's something you can only win once, and only one player of all the teams can win it. And Roberto Clemente and what he meant on and off the field is more to do with your accomplishments off the field than it does with your accomplishments on the field. So that's probably one I know would have been and was very proud of.
That's awesome. That's totally awesome. How about, what was I going to ask? Now I can't even remember. I had it in my head.
The look on your dad's face when you gave your Hall of Fame speech. Did you go over that one? Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't look down at him too many different times, I mean, when you're giving a Hall of Fame speech in front of all those people and then the people behind you, it's pretty surreal. So I just know that I'll never forget the way and how proud he was, just, soaking it all in, something that you never dream is going to happen. And then the whole journey just comes before you. And he had such a huge part of it, obviously. And we talk all the time about, all the things he did to give me opportunities, and all the things that he used to do just to get to a game are pretty special. I didn't really understand it. I thought, like, Dad, you don't have to come to this, drive 300 miles to go watch this game, but he always did. And if he was busy a lot, on the road a lot, but he never missed a game, and that's something I'll never forget.
How about your number, when they retired your number? How cool was that?
Well, that's just step one of something you never think is going to happen. And you play the game for the right reasons, but you don't play it for that. And when they decide to do something like that, it's rarefied air, just like the Hall of Fame. And when they hang up that number and no one can ever use it again, it's kind of hard to describe. That 29 was not something I chose; it was given to me, but it became my number. So, and now no one could ever use it.
Fantastic. Ben's gonna ask.
Somebody asked what was it like playing with Deion Sanders, the flamboyant Deion Sanders.
Deion Sanders was by far one of the greatest teammates ever. He was an absolute joy to be around. I think it's something that the stories get thrown around, but he was awesome. He's one of the greatest athletes I've ever seen in my life, and Bo Jackson's obviously up there as well. But he was awesome, an awesome teammate.
Great. How good was it playing with Albert Pujols? And is he a first ballot Hall of Famer?
He is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he was nicknamed the Machine for a reason. He definitely he's one of the greatest of the generation that he played in. I mean, over 600 home runs, his power, his average, everything he did. I was not comfortable facing him. I think he was 3 for 8 off of me, 3 home runs, or something like that. He was as good as it gets, no doubt.
There you go. Who was your dad's favorite player besides you, of course? And he's guessing Al Kaline. That's from Eddie O.
It would have been a Tiger. I mean, he grew up obviously in Detroit, and we never directly talked. He brought me to Tiger games. I think Al Kaline would be sufficient for sure. I mean, what a classy guy, and he represented the city of Detroit about as well as you can. And getting to know him and before his passing was pretty cool, and just being in the same organization as him was even doubly cool. So Al Kaline was Mr. Class for sure.
Thank you.
We're getting down to the last 4 packs here. I'm getting a little nervous.
You got nothing pulled yet, John?
No, none. All right, I'll start ripping more here.
Nothing.
We'll start ripping them more here. You know what? We'll move to these packs here as well. Now, these. Do you remember these, John?
Hanger packs?
The hanger packs.
Oh yeah.
Well, we cheated because some people, you were on the top of it, so I had to keep quiet and turn it down so nobody knew. You're in these pretty good, I think. There we go. Oh, you got that one? Okay, all right. I don't understand that, Winnie the Pooh. 3 Hall of Famers that you met that took him back. That took you back.
The Hall of Famer that I met.
Mm-hmm. 3 of them.
Sandy Koufax.
Oh, really?
I'd say Sandy Koufax.
Good question.
Willie Mays. Hank Aaron, because I've known Hank Aaron with the Atlanta Braves. So I feel like.
Who's this go to?
I feel like I was spoiled when it came to knowing Hank Aaron, but man, oh man, he was awesome. But Sandy Koufax is also one of those iconic. You just meet him and just know you met greatness.
What about the Goose?
Oh, I hang out with the Goose a lot. He's nothing but laughs, and he is. You talk about a throwback. I mean, speak of Mark Lemke, we got a little Mark Lemke card.
There you go.
Hmm.
All right, Trisha, she's one of my members of my chat. She follows my streams a lot. She wants to know what it's like having a catcher like Javier Lopez, because he's her favorite player.
Well, Javi was one of the best offensive catchers we ever had, and I threw a ton of games to Javi. I loved his offense. He got better with his defense, and he was just a stud. He's one of those guys. When he stood at the plate, you knew he could hit it a country mile. Most of the times he did. Last pack. This is sad.
That's crazy. I guess I didn't pick very good ones to send you, huh? Now we're back to golf, I think. No, J-Tex. Top 3 people you've ever golfed with. Well, we know Tiger already. We've touched base on that. So I guess...
Tiger Woods, Annika Sorensen, and Arnold Palmer are pretty good 3 that I was able to play with. So that's probably, I could keep going, but those 3 were pretty special.
That's awesome.
We got one here. This was What are your thoughts on Acuna's injury and his recovery? Do you think he'll come back to MVP form, or because he's a very energetic player, but from what we all see.
Yeah, I sure hope so. What an unbelievable player, and unfortunately now it's both his knees, and I don't know what it's like to come back from two knees, let alone one. He did the one, and he came back special. So maybe that work ethic and that desire to kind of know how to rehab will allow him to come back from two. But that is just such a bad injury to have, and I hope the best for him.
Is your time in the booth with Chipper, Glavin, and the guys your favorite booth moments? Because we sure do enjoy watching them when you guys are up there.
Yeah, that was pretty special and unscripted and fun and raw. We've got one more coming. I think it might be our last one. And you never know how those things are going to go. And it was kind of an epic first one, and I wasn't able to be part of the second one. But you know what? It's one of those out of the box moments that worked out. Hopefully, this last one will work out as well.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, poor Larry Crown. I mean, as Braves fans, I don't think that's going to go away for a while. As with the infamous poor Larry Crown.
We've already answered all those guys. Your favorite current Brave? I like that one. And of course, the automated strike zone and the clock. I knew we were going to get those.
Well, the pitch clock is Save Baseball, and that is something that was essential. They needed it. The banning the shift was great too. So, as far as that goes, it has brought the game back into a timely manner where it's thank God. So that's never going away. As far as the current Brave, I'm a big fan of a lot of them, but I really like the makeup of Austin Riley. He's been through a lot, came into the league on fire, struggled, came back. I like to see when someone struggles how they bounce back, and it shows me a lot. Albies is such a fun-loving player. He's unfortunately gotten hurt again. I hate it for him because he's personality.
Do you think he's the glue that keeps the team together right now? Do you think Ozzie Albies is the glue that keeps the team together? Because as fans, we can just speculate, but he seems like he is.
Yeah, he basically, epitomizes kind of the smaller player that can do a lot and the joy that he has. And the rapport he has with his teammates shows. So that's something that, definitely shows up.
I'm going through this pack here, John, trying to find your card. I can't.
Yeah, I'm all out.
I know. There's Mike Schmidt. I'm sure they love hear about Mike Schmidt. Cal Ripken. We're not going to ask that. Joe Davis. You host with Joe Davis. How cool is that? He's from.
It really is cool. When I think about where we're from and we're doing the World Series together, man, oh man, two small cities in Michigan, 20 minutes apart. We got a little age difference, but he's from Potterville, I'm from Lansing, and it's you can't make those stories up. I mean, he's worked hard to get to where he's gotten. I've put in time to get to where I have, and now we get to I don't know how long, but hopefully foreseeable future, call a lot of World Series. And I say this all the time, maybe full circle, before I retire, I get a call of Tigers World Series. I've called an Atlanta Braves World Series, but how cool would it be if I got a chance to come home and call a Tigers World Series, so you're not that far away.
Hell, you've got some people in the chat, actually.
Detroit
Yes, you will.
struggling to see this team, be relevant, but I don't think they're that far away.
I got it. Okay, you guys want to run another personalized ball real quick? And then... So,
Sure.
this y'all, okay. Do you have any more questions right now that you could do?
Not right now. Let's run a ball. Yeah, we're here to raise some money, so let's run another autograph ball. Oh, that's a baseball card. Oh,
Which?
oh,
I got a baseball
we got
card.
a baseball card running here first. So this is for a baseball card in the background. Then we'll do a ball. It was already queued up for a baseball card.
Yeah, we'll do a card, then we'll do a ball. What's the... Did you ever come through Arkansas in the minors jamming?
Did I say that again?
Did you ever come through Arkansas in the minors? And one other request, can you show us some of your stuff? Do you have any of it handy from your memorabilia?
Well, that's all down in a room.
Okay.
Let's see. I can show you.
That's all right.
I could show some stuff here in my office.
I mean, we already saw the chewed up hat. That was cool.
We saw the chewed up hat.
Mm-hmm.
I just knocked over all the.
Oh, see? Look what you did, Sabo.
Let's see. Am I holding it the right way?
Yep, you're perfect.
That's the Rolaids Relief Award Trophy in 2002.
I'm kind of friends with Carl Willis. Did you ever know him?
Yep. Carl Willis and our paths have crossed. And obviously he went on to coaching and done a great job. So I'm trying to, I don't think we ever pitched against each other. Don't think, but have run into him, yes.
Cool. The best historic park you've played in, and what was it like? We already asked that. And your opinion on the trade deal. So your best historic park you played in, and opinion on the trade deal line.
An opinion on
Trade